finna pop off.
What's good? Welcome back to the Pop Off Podcast, a conversation show about the AFC. It is nearly football season. We're somewhere between 14 to 15 days away from kickoff on Thursday night between the Cowboys and Eagles. I'm your host, Ralph Compiano, and today we are discussing the AFC and the over-unders associated with the win totals for every single team in the AFC. To join me to do that, I have one of my best friends in the world, a crucial member of the Pop Off Podcast roster, Skylar Riesberg. It's almost football season, Berg. How are you feeling?
I wish I could show the viewers our last 5 minutes because it just consisted of tweaking and buzzing and jumping around. I'm trying to hold it all together here to seem like a normal person on this podcast right now, but I'm excited, dude. You know, this is the best time of the year. I say that going into summer. I say that about a lot of things, but this is the best time of the year. We're about to have sports just continuously going from football to basketball when it starts. So, just events till March. It really never stops, but the ones you pay attention to. So I'm buzzing for football.
Yeah, especially last year, we had the Olympics leading up to the NFL kickoff, LeBron, Curry, Durant, all that kind of stuff. And really the last 2 months, I'm not an MLB guy. It's just been kind of dead. I'm not a UFC person. I'm really NFL, NBA. I dive as deep into those two sports as humanly possible. But I think just looking at the teams, I think specifically we could start in an interesting spot in the AFC West where we'll break down every team in every division and their win total associated. I want to actually start with the Chiefs because their win total this year is 11.5. This is the first time in 2 years that you as a Chiefs fan are going into an NFL season as not the defending champion. Is there some kind of vengeance associated with the Chiefs this year? Because 11.5 feels a little bit disrespectful because since Mahomes has taken over the throne in Kansas City, he has won 12 games, 12 games, 14 games, 12 games, 14 games, 11 games, and 15 games. So he's only ever gone under 11.5 one time in 6 seasons? And he's, perennially the best quarterback in the league. Some might argue Josh Allen, but is there a disrespectful thread here to 11.5, or is that appropriate?
I think you can make an argument that there is some disrespect there, but from, just as me personally, as a Chiefs fan, I don't take the disrespect. It's been a while since I've looked through the schedule, but I know it's not easy. And I know that the team coming back this year, hopefully everybody's healthy. So, but they're just kind of question marks on offense. I understand the 11.5. At the end of the day, I don't take disrespect to it. Now, what I do hope is that Patrick Mahomes is nothing like me, and he is a petty little guy. He's been hearing, all this, oh, the dynasty's over, this, that. Look at this win total on DraftKings or FanDuel or ESPN. They're saying 11.5. I hope he looks at that and he takes it personally. But no, me, myself, and I'll give you a spoiler. I'd take the over, but I hope it's fueling up the team, specifically Patrick Mahomes.
So the schedule difficulty, they're 15th in the league, so they're right at average, right? They're in a tough division, maybe the best division in football with Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But I have to go over here as well because the math just plays out. He's going to win 12 games every single year. He was winning 12 games when we were still in a 16-game season. Those first 2 years, he went 12-4 as a starter with the Chiefs. As long as they have the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes credo, and Spagnuolo calling the defense, I'm going to have all the confidence in the world in them. And I think another aspect to them is that, the last 2 years, they've been not boring necessarily because they've been in exciting games, but man, when he came onto the scene, he was just the most electric quarterback I had seen in a long time. A long, long time. I can't even think, it's maybe Mike Vick with the Eagles and Falcons was as electric as this, but now he has some contemporaries, the Lamars, the Joshes, and I think that he is as competitive as anybody, and it might not shine through all the time, but there's just that instinctual killer in him, and yeah, man, 12 games, I'm not going to put a lock on it, but I'm going to go with the over here just because he's Patrick Mahomes. He's going to have 14, hopefully, games of Rashee Rice this year. People forget that he got injured like week 3 or 4 last year. Kelsey's another year older. Xavier Worthy has another year of experience under his belt and maybe more of a run game. And they kind of fixed the tackle issue a little bit. People are liking Josh Simmons, so it just feels like a Chiefs year to me again, in the regular season at least.
Yeah, you had and then the caveat at the end is they're going for the number 1 seed every season. If they're going to get that, you need more than 11.5 wins. So,
okay, so moving on, we're both on the over then on the Chiefs. I feel like that's just safe. I like it. I might even put a lock on it. And if you want to put a lock on any of these, let me know.
I want to put a lock on that one. It's tough not to. Just with the data history you were pouring out at the beginning there, it doesn't feel like that 11-win season that's coming, but yeah, I'm going to put a lock on this. I feel super confident.
Okay, so moving on, let's do the Broncos next, because the Broncos are kind of like the NFL hipsters' wet dream right now. People are loving this team. Sean Payton, back for the second year with Bo Nix. Probably a top 3 to 4 defense in the league. They were in that realm last year, and then they went and added 2 49ers, Talana Hufanga, the strong safety, and then Dre Greenlaw, the linebacker. And then they have probably the best defensive player in the sport in Patrick Surtain, one of my favorite players in the league. 9.5 is pretty much even odds right now. It's plus 100, so it's exactly even odds. They have the 11th hardest schedule in the league. What are your thoughts on Bo Nix? Like, this is a 25-ish-year-old second-year quarterback. I know Capsh and Turner have a lot of thoughts on him. They've shared with Rent Money over the last couple of years between his time in Auburn, Oregon, et cetera, et cetera. But I just don't know what to think of him. When I think of him now, I kind of think what happened to C.J. Stroud last season, where there's a sophomore slump, and I don't feel great about that. Like, I look at their weapons, and I like Cortland Sutton. I don't really know who else he throws the ball to. Marvin Mims, I guess. Like, they just don't have name brand players on that team, so maybe that makes me feel ugly about them. But I don't know. I'm not as in on the Broncos as everybody else on NFL Twitter seems to be.
No, I like your point too. I can't name off their roster, but the 2 guys you named are 2 of the guys that are not going to get more involved. You have Evan Ingram there this year as well. That could be interesting. RJ Harvey could get thrown too. So there's a lot of question marks going on. Where I stand with Bo Nix is when he came in, did not think he'd be the answer. Just reminded me of too many new Broncos quarterbacks that had come in. Everybody praised them as this is the guy, and they just haven't had the guy since Manning. They haven't had the guy in a while. But last year, Bo Nix kind of proved me wrong by the end of the season. It helps when you're doing good in fantasy, so I see your name up there a little more. And then when I'm watching his games, I went to a few Broncos games last year. For those that don't know, I'm boots on the ground in Denver, watching Bo Nix every game right up close, just trying to take in all the film we can on him. And I like your take about being hesitant on him because I think it's fair. And whenever anybody in Denver, first off, the Bo Nix train, the hype is full send right now. People are putting the Broncos in there in the same sentence as Super Bowl. I think you got to pump the brakes. I think you need to chill out. But I like Bo Nix, and I like the Broncos to get 10 wins this season.
Okay, so you're on the over because they were 10-7 last season.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I'm not giving them enough credit because, like, in any other year where Jaden Daniels isn't playing football as a rookie, Bo Nix wins Rookie of the Year, and we're probably having a little bit more of an exciting conversation about him. 29 touchdowns, 12 picks, 3,700 yards, and again, 10-7.
And he's a married man.
I think
he's got his priorities in line.
He does. He definitely does have his priorities in line, and he might be, like, I don't know, the whitest quarterback in the league. I'm not sure who else would compete for that. Maybe Dak?
I think Dylan Gabriel right now, maybe.
Dylan Gabriel's an interesting person to throw in that mix, but I'll go over here as well. I just think that this division, like, it's interesting when you do this kind of exercise because it's like you have 16 teams, and You can't do 16 overs. You can't just be optimistic. So you have to find the balance of like, all right, where are my unders going to fall? But I mean, it's Sean Payton, and I trust the defense. So I'll go over here as well. I'm not comfortable enough to go lock, but I'll go over 9.
Would you say are Broncos' best defense coming into this season?
I think so.
Up there
I think you
with
can put
maybe the
Philly
Eagles
in the conversation, Houston in the conversation. I think people are kind of sleeping on San Francisco now that they got Saleh back. I'm sure you know my thoughts on him as a head coach. Don't trust him. But as a defensive coordinator, I think he brings the juice. I think the Bears have a really solid defense. They could be in consideration there, and then the Jets as well. But yeah, I would say the Broncos are probably the top of the heap. All right, moving on to the Chargers. Their over is also 9.5, and they actually have worse odds than the Broncos. They are minus 110 to win 10 games this year. They have the 12th most difficult schedule in the league. The same thing that I did with Mahomes, talking about how many wins he had, I'm going to do with Harbaugh here. And you have to take this a little bit of credence because he spent a decade in college football, but Harbaugh won 13 games his first year in San Francisco, 11 games the next year, 12 games the year after that, 8 games his last year. He was 8-8. And then last year with the Chargers, he won 11 games. So he has only ever gone under 9.5 once in his career as an NFL head coach. And because of that, I trust him. The Rashawn Slater injury is certainly terrifying, but I'm just one of those guys that believes in Herbert. I know that people get a lot of flack for thinking he's the 5th, 6th, or 7th best quarterback in the league. I'm one of those people. I love the guy. I think he throws a rocket. And rumors have it he might be dating Madison Beer right now. L.A. quarterback, dating an absolute smoke show. Saw some pictures of them together on the street. I feel good about that, dog. And I like Ladd McConkey, and I like what they did with the running back room. Najee Harris with one eye, Amari and Hampton.
Hey,
and then Derwin
and they
James.
Brought the boy back. They brought Keenan Allen back.
They brought Keenan
They
back.
brought Mr. Vibes back.
I'm not sure what that's going to give you with his mega mind looking ass, but I'm really happy that Jay Herbo has a nice head coach, a good head coach, a non-Brandon Staley head coach. And again, I think this is probably the best division in football. So I'll go with the over here on the Chargers as well.
I'm happy you're saying that because I'm a little biased here as well. And I initially was going into this kind of wanting to lean the under, but now that I'm thinking about it more, I think let's give no spoilers. I'm going to put them on the over. I think there's going to be 3 AFC West teams this year in the playoff hunt. So you're going to have 3 teams with 10 wins. Hopefully that just means everybody's beating up on the Raiders in the division to get those wins up. But I like Herbert. He's not a fantasy guy, especially in this offense. He's not somebody, as in the past couple years, you can look at and be like, this is a safe guy to play. But everybody knows you look at him on the field and you can't deny his talent. Before there was Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, in my eyes, that I remember competing with Mahomes, there was Justin Herbert. He was the first guy to kind of go toe-to-toe. Chiefs and Chargers have had some great games together. Yeah, I mean, I got to go over. I think it's going to be a good year.
I think what's interesting, too, is just looking at their schedule. West. Their first 3 games are all AFC West games. They play the Chiefs week 1, Raiders week 2, Broncos week 3. So they're just going division battles right off the rip. Bears do the same thing. They play the Vikings and the Packers first 2 weeks, I believe. Or no, Vikings and Lions, rather. And then I'm trying to find out the other division that they play here. It looks like maybe the AFC South, because they have the Jags, the Titans. So they'll play the AFC South as their other division. I think they can go 3-1 in that one, maybe 4-0 if they can beat the Texans. So I just really like what Harbaugh has done in his first year, and he's just the kind of guy that wins football games. So I'll go with him there. All right, the Las Vegas Raiders, the new-look Las Vegas Raiders, have a win total of 6.5. That is minus 145, so you have to pay $145 to win $100 for the Raiders to win 7 games. They bring in Pete Carroll as their head coach. He might be geriatric, but he still has the juice. Streets are saying that he's jumping in like the middle of a tush push for no reason whatsoever and ending up at the bottom of the pile. You bring in Geno Smith. They drafted Ashton Genty with the 7th overall pick in the draft. And they have Brock Bowers, who is, I think safe to say, probably the best tight end in the league now that Travis Kelce has kind of been dethroned there. They have the 16th hardest schedule in the league. And again, the over-under is 6.5. I'd like to talk through this one before I make a decision because Pete Carroll is a lot like Harbaugh, wins a lot of games. They're in the same division again after they were in the NFC West for a number of years with the 49ers and Seahawks. And I'm a Geno guy. I've always been a Geno guy. I remember when West Virginia played Baylor like 13 or 14 years ago. Geno had like 600 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was just putting up video game numbers. So ever since then, I've just been like, yeah, this is the man. I really dig this dude. They write me off. I ain't right back, though.
Dude, what we need to appreciate is we're talking about the AFC West, and we just named 4 awesome decorated head coaches in Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, and then Pete Carroll. Welcome.
Welcome
That's
to the AFC
that's
West.
exciting.
It's stacked. It's really stacked. And you have Tom Brady as an owner now. And I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes on the total wins and losses. But there definitely has to be more like a professionalism. Yeah, like the vibes. Like, they're definitely playing crazy ass music at practice because that's just the Pete Carroll way, playing either metal or Future or both at the same time. Like he's blasting shit.
Yeah.
And then I also
Pete
wanted
Carroll's
to talk to you about
the Future again.
The Christian Wilkins issue, because that's like one of the best nose tackles in the league, one of the best 3 techs that we have, and he's just gone from the team now because he was diddling his teammates or something like that. That's got to shake you up a little bit. Like, that's probably worth a win or two. Or maybe it's worth a win or two the other way because now you don't have a guy, giving out wet willies like when he's at the bottom of a pile.
Yeah, so I think, do we all just know as much as each other about this? Because he, at practice, he kissed a man on the forehead. We know the man's name, but the man took extreme offense to it, and now he's off the team. And that's all the world knows.
How many Raiders are on the team that you could get kicked off for kissing their forehead? It has to be like Max Crosby, and that's it. Maybe Bowers.
Is that who it was?
He got such a bald head. I don't think it was Max Crosby, because if you kiss Max Crosby on the head, you're probably getting a forearm to the throat, and I think Christian Wilkins knows that.
I think it speaks to the Raiders' culture. I think it speaks to them being decades behind in the PC culture. And I think, yeah, but they had an openly gay man on the team back in the day. So I don't know. There's a lot of confusion going on there. Well, didn't they? Wasn't one of the linemen that came out? Yeah, wasn't he a Raiders guy? Yeah.
He might have been. Yeah. I know he played for the Browns for a little bit. He was on Hard Knocks for a second. They also had the Henry Ruggs issue. But yeah, maybe that's why you bring in Pete Carroll and Tom Brady, because you're like, we just need some sort of, I don't know, professionalism. I think that's the only word that you can attribute to it.
But then you bring up Tom Brady, and he kisses his sons, and I have nothing to say about that, honestly. But
you ever kiss your dad?
But you're telling me no. But like, if that was what the Colt family dynamics were like, maybe I'd be doing that. But that's not the family dynamics. I think I kissed my dad
until I was like 12 years old. Like, I think we would do like little pecks on the lips, and then I realized like it's kind of weird. I think it's an Italian thing, but Tom Brady is not an Italian name whatsoever.
Well, you would think him kissing his dad and being a part owner of the team, he would step in and say, hey, like, that's fine. Get him back.
Maybe it's just in the family, though. I don't think Tom Brady ever kissed, like, Wes Welker or Randy Moss or Vince Wilfork. I think he was saving that for his kids.
Well, maybe it's just in the family. But what that means for this team, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna say it means they don't win 7.5 games. This is the first under I'm taking 6.5. That is a big difference, honestly. It's not a lot of games to win. But I'm gonna say the Raiders continue to be the, unfortunately, laughing stock of the AFC West. And I could see this picking 3 overs in the AFC West. I could see, the Raiders with Pete Carroll flip-flopping. Who's their quarterback now?
Geno Smith.
That's right. I can see him making some noise, but
I think I have to, because like you're going from Gardner Minshew and Alex O'Connell to Geno Smith. And I know Geno Smith's not like top 10 quarterback, but he's at least like 15 or 16. And you're going from number 32 to number 15 or 16 in the quarterback room. And then Antonio Pierce, I think, was probably a solid coach. I think he got a lot of buy-in from that team. But, I mean, they won 8-9 a couple years ago with him and McDaniels. They were 4-13 last year. I'm going to go all 4 AFC West teams going over. And that's probably a dangerous thing, but I think at least 3 of them get there. And if they do, then I'm making my money back at the very least. I'm actually making money if 3 out of 4 go.
You know what? I like that. I think I'm being a little biased. Just, the Raiders have sucked for a long time. I'm being a little biased here. I'm not buying into their newfound products, but I like the call of 4 teams going over. I think if there's a division that happens, I think this is where it does. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
But I'm still going under.
Yeah, I got you on the under there.
Okay.
Let's do the AFC East next, because we just talked about the Chiefs.
Okay.
Now we should talk about the Bills. Bills are also at 11.5. They have worse odds, if you will. They're minus 155 to get to that number, 12 wins. They have the 23rd easiest schedule in the league, 23rd most difficult schedule in the league. Since Allen has taken over, he only won 6 games his rookie year, but since then, 10 wins, 13 wins, 11 wins, 13 wins, 11 wins, 13 wins. So there's a little bit of a trend there of going 13-11, 13-11, 13. I think I'm going to go with a Hard Knocks curse here, and I'm going to take the under because I think the division got a little bit better with the Patriots. And I don't know, the last time somebody was on Hard Knocks was the Bears, and they completely fell under their expectations. I do want to say I think Josh Allen is a superhero, and I think he's the second best quarterback in the league by a good chunk. I'd still have him ahead of Lamar and Burrow, and I think he's right behind Patrick. But yeah, I'll go under here, and I'll take them at exactly 11-6. I might see if I can get those odds, actually, if I can get them exactly 11-6.
They're 11.5. Is there over under?
11.5 and 23rd in schedule difficulty. So an easy schedule.
Yeah, I kind of like the over here. I do believe in the Hard Knocks curse, so that is the one thing that doesn't make me feel good about it. But, I mean, maybe I stand corrected, but I don't think they lost too many pieces. I think it's another season of, Josh Allen trying to get to the big game. Hopefully him being on Hard Knocks and getting married, hopefully those weren't things that took away from his focus of football. But really, this whole pick is on Josh Allen and him just being a superhero. I believe it. I've seen it. I think the man should have a few Super Bowls in his own right. I think he's a loved quarterback, which is beautiful.
Or 1 or 2.
Yeah, you're right. Let's clarify that. I think
Because
he should
Peyton
have 1,
got
2 tops.
Peyton got 2. You got 1 with the Colts and 1 with the Broncos, right? And I think it's safe to say that Josh is probably the Peyton to Patrick's Tom. If he can get 2, I think that's more than a success. If he gets 1, he's going to have a statue outside of their new stadium in Buffalo. And I love this guy, but I look at the receiving core and I'm like, all right, we're throwing to Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman, Kincaid, Dawson Knox, just re-signed James Cook. But then you look at the other side of the ball and the defenses, I don't know, they don't have a lot of A-plus talent. They don't have a lot of blue chippers, if you will. They have Greg Rousseau. They had to bring back Trey White because they're so lacking in the cornerback room. I like Christian Benford, but I'm not sure. I feel like I'm more confident in them in the playoffs than I am in them in the regular season, if that makes sense. I feel like once we get to December, January, February, I think I could see them in the Super Bowl, but I don't think that they get to 12 wins this year.
This just feels like a year. Honestly, it feels like another year of the past where we've had either the Bills or the Ravens competing for the 1 seed or the Chiefs, and it kind of feels like that year. So to do that, you need 12 wins at least. And I mean, you need more, but you need to get over that win total. So I'm going to go over on that, like I said. And yeah, it's really just because of Josh Allen. Respect everything he does so much.
The Chiefs went 15-2 last year, like 15-2 in the regular season. And then they went down to 11.5.
And their team was bad.
They just had so
many. You
many
watching the Kingdom at all?
No, I'm not watching that. Are you kidding me? Are you watching that? Of course you're watching that.
Yeah, I was watching it. It's really good. It just reminded me, I mean, one offseason goes by, you forget the last season completely. If you're a fan of some teams, that's a blessing. You want to forget that. But I just forgot that every receiver and all the running backs for the Chiefs were just injured. Yeah, they'll definitely not get 15 wins again this year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're going to get 16 wins. All right, let's move on to who I think is okay. I think that this is the most preposterous line for win totals that we're going to cover today.
Okay.
The Miami Dolphins are set at 8.5 wins, and that's plus 155. I am taking this as an under, and I'm taking it as a lock. I think that Vegas is operating under the assumption that Tua is going to play 12 or 13 games. I don't think that happens. I think that it's been a reality TV show down there the last few months between the McDaniel and Tyreek Hill stuff. I don't like their defense, and I'm sorry, Hato, but I'm going to go like I might take an alternate line and go under 5.5. I think this team is going to stink, and I think they're going to draft a quarterback in 2026.
Yeah, we're talking about bad defenses. Just a stray shot at the Raiders that I didn't get in. I don't think they're supposed to have a good defense either, so I feel better about that underplay. I'm right here with you. I think that the Dolphins need to have a solidified backup quarterback that is basically a starting quarterback, because
Yes.
I think the Tua show is just, it's not a good show, and it's getting tough to watch. And I hope, hey, I'm the first one that's going to say I hope he's healthy all season. That's just not what I think is going to happen, though. I think week 6 comes around, I'll be happy he's still playing, but he's one hit, and that man's going to be out for the season again. Prove me wrong, please, but I'm going to go under for all the same things you just said. Their defense is probably going to be one of the worst in the league, and it's just going to get bad. It's going to be like last year.
Your point about the backup quarterback, it's so correct, because like, I'm not going to call it malpractice necessarily, but watching the NFL draft this year, I think I watched definitely the first 2 days in full, and then a good chunk of the third day, and just watching Shedeur Sanders drop. And I get it, he didn't do well in the interviews, but you put a guy like that in a Mike McDaniel system, you give him Tyreek Hill, you give him Jalen Waddle, he's not taking too many headlines because he's the clear backup behind Tua. I think that's a guy that could thrive in an offense like that. I really do. And I think the fact that they're probably sticking with Skylar Thompson or whoever the hell it is at their backup quarterback, I just think it's bad management. Like, why not take a 4th-round flyer on a kid like Shedeur, who has everything in the world to prove? I think he was definitely better than a 5th-round talent according to the draft. He probably should have gotten the 2nd or 3rd, maybe even the 1st. I believe in that guy. And yeah, I would be much more excited about this team if they had a viable backup quarterback option. Like, even if they could have gotten Flacco or something. Like, go get somebody. Don't just stick with who you got.
They have Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers as their 2nd and 3rd strings. How do you feel about those two?
I absolutely despise Zach Wilson. I have since the day that he was drafted. Ever since he did the rolling out to the left and throwing back to the right, and everybody was oozing over it, I've never liked him. Ewers, I don't mind. I mean, maybe he's a point-and-shoot guy too, but I would rather have Shedeur than either of those guys. Blindfolded.
Okay, I definitely feel better about their backups now that we're talking through it. Now that I just saw that Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers are there, it's definitely an upgrade from Skylar Thompson and whoever the heck else they end up through. I think so. It's tough to say because all we've seen from Skylar Thompson is he was just thrown to the wolves last year, and it was bad. He didn't look. It looked like putting a wide receiver or running back in there and being like, "Good luck, dude."
Yeah. I mean, go get Tannehill off the streets or something. Just get somebody. It's gross. But yeah, 8.5 feels like there's no chance in hell this team goes above 500. There's just not. Like, I'm sorry. They did trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick, though, so Minkah's back in Miami, which is exciting. All right, let's move on
They still don't inspire me enough. Not a lock, though.
Not a lock. So you're on the under as well.
Not a lock
both
for
on
me.
The under there. Let's go to New England. The Patriots have a new head coach. His name is Mike Vrabel. He is a legendary linebacker for the Patriots. Sneaky good tight end, too, in goal line packages. And their line is 8.5. Second year, I guess year and a half for Drake Maye. It's not like his freshman season. It's like the summer going into his sophomore year because he only played like 4 or 5 games last year. They have the 30th most difficult schedule in the league, so that's the 3rd easiest schedule in the entire NFL. Josh McDaniels back at OC, Gerard Mayo out the building, and Vrabel wins games. He didn't win games his last 2 years in Tennessee, but that's because of quarterback issues and this and that. And I think that this really depends on, is Drake Maye going to be Josh Allen light, or is he white Justin Fields? Like, I don't think he's as good of an athlete as Justin, but I think he's one of the better athletes at quarterback that we have in the league, and I think he has a rocket for an arm. But did they get enough help at receiver? They did the Diggs transaction. He got busted for having Tusi on a yacht. And then you go and get Travion Henderson from Ohio State. He looks like he's going to be explosive running back, climbing up fantasy draft boards. We have to talk through this one again. This is like the Raiders. I don't know. It's 8.5, and the schedule is 30th most difficult in the league. This is a tough one. I think because of the schedule, I'll go over here. I've gone under for two of these teams, the Bills and the Dolphins. I'll take the Patriots to get above 500. The Patriot way, back in action. You know, they had their little situationship with Gerard Mayo, but this was the rightful transition. They should have gone from Belichick to Vrabel in the first place. I think Vrabel's going to be the coach there for the next 15 to 20 years. I think he's a hell of a coach. And, yeah, I'll go with the Pats over 8.5 wins. Even odds.
Over 8.5. Ooh.
Over 8.5. Think through it.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't love to bet
Talk
on this
it out.
one because I just see it as I just see that margin between 8 and 9 too closely in my head right now, and I definitely have the last 2 years of the Pats season kind of, you know, recency biasy there stuck in the brain floating around, but ultimately I am going to go over. I like what they did. I think they, aside from Diggs, I think they still have some sneaky good wide receivers that'll pull in there. That's just not usually the Patriot way, so you don't hear about them too much. But I think they have enough pieces. I think they got like Matt Collins in there. Two other
Matt
people.
Collins.
They got some They got Matt
Jalen
Collins,
Polk.
dude. They
Jalen
got Matt
Polk.
Collins.
I think they still have Pop Douglas, Keyshawn Booty, and I know I'm missing somebody. Let me look at their depth chart. Yeah, Booty. Oh, they got Kendrick
missing
Bourne.
Matt Collins.
Don't hate that. I like Jalen Polk. And then at tight end, you still have Hunter Henry. You know, they drafted Will Campbell from LSU, who is an ass kicker at left tackle. They're building in the trenches, and they're going to have one of the 5 or 6 best defenses in the league. That's just the way that Vrabel operates. And
Patriot way.
you have
The Vrabel way.
Probably the second best corner in the league in Christian Gonzalez. So, yeah, I think the Patriots get back to form. I just don't know how I feel about Maye yet. I need more footage on him. I need to watch him more. I didn't get to watch him a lot last year, so let me spend more time with him. But for a quarterback that I haven't spent a lot of time with, I think that shows my confidence in the coach that I'm willing to get them above 500.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Drake Maye too much, but he was exciting people at the end of the season last year. So I'm going to give this one an over because I'm thinking about the rest of the division, and I think I know where I'm going with those ones. So I think that sounds about right. They'll squeak out 9 wins, and there'll be some enthusiasm going into next season.
For sure. Okay, so let's go with the last team in the AFC East. It is the New York Jets. They also have a new coach and a new quarterback. They hired the Lions defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, as their head coach, and Justin Fields, JF1 or JF7 now, is the new quarterback in New York. Their line is 5.5 wins. They have the 26th most difficult schedule in the league. They have to go 6-11 in order to hit the over here, and that's minus 140. I am one of the few people left on Justin Fields' side. I love the guy. I've seen all the videos of him in training camp missing receivers by 7.5 feet to the left and right. It's bad.
And you're
It's not
still
good.
bought in.
And for some reason, I can't quit him. He's like a jewel when you're a senior in college. You know he's not good for you. You know you're going to have to give him up soon. You just can't. And as you rip yours, I'm still ripping mine, dog. My Justin Field jewel. I'm still on this guy, man. I can't do it. Like, there is no Zen replacement for my Justin Field jewel. With that being said, I don't think Aaron Glenn's going to be a very good head coach. I don't think he was a very good defensive coordinator. And I think this is the second time in a row that they've gone DC for a good team. I don't know if the Lions defense was even that great. I mean, it feels like every game they were in was a shootout last year. So what's the point in going and getting a guy that's like allowing 26.5 points per game? I'm going to go under here. And I don't feel great about it because I love my boy JF7. But got to quit the Nick at some point, dog.
Yeah, gosh, I just think of the Jets. It's so sad. I hope they do get over. But because of how down bad that organization is, even though all the pieces are there offensively for me, and then, I don't know, their defense is typically not going to lose them games.
They have talent.
With all that said, and I'm going under because until the Jets tell me or show me they're not cursed, they're going to continue to be cursed. And that's not a place where I want to put my bets on. So I'm going to go under, and God, hopefully it's not too ugly.
I would like to say this, too. Their backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. Another one of my guys. Like, there are a few quarterbacks that I don't know what it is, but I just have like this unquenched desire for them to succeed in the NFL. Maybe it's because I use them in like college football 13 or 14 or something like that, and I just still have this love for them. But if Tyrod Taylor gets some play, I'll still tap into the Jets. Like, even if Fields isn't out there, I'll watch Tyrod ball.
I was going to say, when you got two of my guys on the same team and they're both potentially could be starting caliber quarterbacks, what's it feel like when Justin Fields gets benched and Tyrod comes trouting out there and he's just ready to make everyone forget about his punctured lung and just throw for, however many yards? Do you feel good about that? Are you looking at Justin Fields like, is it like bittersweet?
You know what? Get them both out there at the same time. Do the JT Brown, Kurt Walding, Dowling class of 2016. Let's get different. Let's make a name for ourselves on offense. Let's not be the laughing stock of the league. Let's line up Justin Fields in the slot and motion him to the backfield, do a flea flicker with him. Let's get creative, dog. We got Garrett Wilson. We got Breece Hall.
Really creative.
They drafted that Mason Taylor kid, going to be a sick tight end. I think they got talent. I just don't believe in the coach and the culture.
I'd love to see Fields, Taylor, give me Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall all lined up in the backfield, and I want people to say, what's going to happen?
Who's snapping
What are they doing? What are they going to do?
Let's have some fun.
That would be the best.
I think realistically they probably win 4 games, and they probably draft Archie Manning next year, or Lenora Sellers, or Mateen, whoever the hell. Mateer. All right.
I'm locking it up. I'm locking that up.
You're locking it under 5.5. All right.
I don't think they're going to get it.
No, they probably
won't. It's just bad vibes over there.
Bad vibes.
They'll win 4 or 5 maybe.
Okay, moving on. Let's go to the AFC North, and we'll finish with the South because that's the most ratchet division.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's start with the Bengals. Their win total is 9.5. That is minus 125. They have the 14th most difficult schedule in the league. Another really good division. They were 9-8 the last 2 years. Somehow they went 9-8 last year, despite having the worst defense in the league and one of the top 5 offenses. It's 2 seasons previous to that. So you'd be going 3 years ago and 4 years ago. They went 12-5 and 10-7. Last 2 years, they've gone under that total. The previous 2 years, they went above it. Difference was, the previous 2 years, they actually had a defense. I don't think any signs are pointing to them having a legitimate defense now. And I just think that in this NFL, in 2025-26, you have to have an at least average defense if you're only going to rely on your elite offense. You cannot be bottom of the pack. You could maybe be 21st or 22nd in the league. You cannot be 32nd. But then again, at the same time, it's like they still have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Fucking love T. Higgins, dog. Love Joe Burrow. This team reminds me a lot of like the Drew Brees Saints, where they just air it out. You know he's going to throw for north of 4,500 yards every single year. They're going to put up points. But can they get stops? And 14th most difficult schedule, I just feel like the ceiling for them is 10-7, and the floor for them is 7-10. So I think I have to go. I can't bet against Burrow. I think they get to 10 wins this year. I'm going to go over, despite everything that I just said. Something about that guy, he just wins football games, and he puts up a lot of points. Just hold the opposing offense to 24 points per game. That's it. 24. It's not asking a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to have to wait. It was 8.5?
9.5.
9.5, even better. I'm going to have to go under here because of their defense at the end of the day. We listed off all of their amazing offensive talents, but ever since Vontaze Burfict, is that how you pronounce his name? Ever since he left, you can point at the downward trend of their organization. It's been since he left. The defense has been getting worse. It's been going down.
Vontaze Burfict retired in 2019.
That's what I'm saying.
They were in the Super Bowl in 2021.
And they lost.
Made it to the Super Bowl. This isn't nearly as bad as you finding out on air that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Lou Alcindor are the same person, but it's in the same vein. It's not as bad as that, but it's in the same vein.
No, I knew he left a while ago. No,
I think
nothing will
this
beat
is a good
that.
time to say like we're by no means experts whatsoever on the subject of the
I know.
NFL. We're just fans. We just love the game. We love talking about the game. We hope people like listening to us talk about the game. But the Vontez
Ralph's
Burfict
an
comment,
expert flirting with, he's an amateur flirting with expertness. All it takes is a little money.
what's
I'm just a
between
vibes
those two?
guy.
What's between amateur and expert? I think if I could devote my 9 to
I think
5
just
to the
money.
NFL, I might be able to be. But I think I'm not definitely not guru. What's between amateur and expert? A standard,
Just money, right? Because you
maybe a TA.
if you
I'm
can't
not
be
a
an
professor.
expert not getting paid.
I think I'm a
maybe you
graduate student, maybe somewhere in that range.
You're a TA.
Yeah,
You're
because
a
I know the
TA.
difference
You're
between
getting there.
cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, cover 6, cover 9, all that kind of stuff. But I couldn't coach football. I could coach like 5th grade football. I couldn't coach high school football.
It'd be so awesome.
That would be awesome. That'd be a fun sport to coach.
Yeah, everything you said. If the defense doesn't show up, the other team's offense is just going to run away.
All right, so you're under 9.5. I'm over 9.5. Let's move into the most 8.5 win total team of all time. I wouldn't be surprised if this team wins.
Wait, you said all that and then you went over?
Yeah, I went over.
Oh, you put a lot of supporting arguments for the under there, I thought.
I
But
did.
yeah, under.
But ultimately, I just said Joe Burrow, dog. Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow.
Joe Shiesty.
Joe
He's
Shiesty,
one of
dude.
my He's my top 3 favorite quarterbacks in the AFC, for sure. He's right below Josh Allen. They kind of are tier 1, tier 2.
If
Then you got
he's
Lamar.
dating Livy Dunn the last 2 years, do they win 10 games both of those years? You look at Paul Skeens right now, like best pitcher in the MLB, dating that Rocket. I mean, he's just succeeding, dude. I feel like there were rumors about those two because, like, I look at Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld. I look at Justin Herbert and Madison Beer. I look at Patrick and Brittany. I look at Bo Nix and his loving wife. Like, you got to have a strong woman on your side, and I feel like Joe is missing that.
No, he just has the sneaky link.
Oh, yeah, he's probably got a few. Him and Jamar probably
He just-
passing him back.
There was a sneaky link last year that caught some headlines pretty hard, and I think he was pretty upset that some of the Bengals beat reporters were asking him about it. He said, I thought you were on my side. We all got to be on Joe Shiesty's side. But yeah, no, I can't say anything more about it. I want him to be awesome.
All right. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the most 8.5 win total team ever. It's minus 120 for them to get over 8.5. They have the 10th most difficult schedule in the league. I had the Tomlin thing that I did with Josh and Harbaugh and Mahomes. 19, so what was that, 6 years ago now, was the last time that Pittsburgh only won 8 games in a season. The last time before that was 2013. Mike Tomlin has never been below 500 as an NFL head coach. He's been there for, I think, 14 years now. 19 years. He's been there since 2006. That's unbelievable. We're getting so old. But last year, 10-7. Year before that, 10-7. Year before that, 9-8. Year before that, 9-7-1. The year before that, 12-4. And then you get to 8-8 back there. Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback, I think.
Yeah.
He's 41 years old. They don't go like. I could so see me taking the over on this, and them going 8-8-1. Like I can
This
just
being
see it.
the year.
That's
Exactly what I'm thinking about right now. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go over because I'm not gonna fight against that data right there. I'm not gonna be the guy who's gonna keep
numbers don't
saying
lie.
this is the year. This is the year. The numbers don't lie. I'm gonna say they get above 500. I'm uninspired by most all facets of their team except Caleb Johnson. That's gonna be fun.
Love that.
That's
so
gonna be
excited about
fun.
that. Thank you for bringing him up.
That's gonna be fun.
He's gonna be
Yep.
so good. I might have to put in an offensive rookie of the year ticket. We're doing that pod next week, but might have to put that in.
There's definitely some big ones out there. That McMillan guy on the Bucks team, that could be fun.
I mean,
Or
we're
no, on
gonna
the
talk-
Panthers.
We're going to talk about who I actually have winning offensive rookie of the year a little
Okay.
bit. But yeah, Caleb's up there.
Yeah, with the Steelers, you can't refute this 17 years of data with Mike Tomlin never going below 500. So as much as it makes no sense, just roll. Just throw it away. And if you're wrong, well, that was tough. It's tough, you know?
Literally 1 in 18 odds. Like that's how wrong you would have to be. Yep, I'm going over as well. All right. Baltimore Ravens. So the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bills are the only teams in the AFC with double-digit win total. They're all at 11.5. And the Ravens are minus 120 to go over 11.5. They have the 9th most difficult schedule in the league. In 3 out of his 6 seasons as a starter, Lamar's gone over. So that means that half the time he has gone under 12-plus games. With that being said, they have a Harbaugh too. And they got a hell of a defense. They might have the best secondary in the league. Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. Went out and got Jair Alexander for practically free. You got Nate Wiggins. You still got Roquan Smith. And then you have a front 7 that is just rotating in and out, and they're getting after the quarterback. Kyle Van Noy still hanging out. Mabaduke. Dafe Owe. They got weapons on defense. And then offensively, you have Lamar Jackson. Okay, and I know I was pretty confident in my statement earlier that Josh Allen is bar none the second best quarterback in the league. Lamar is, there's a Mount Rushmore of those 4. I think they're interchangeable. I won't get mad at anybody for putting them in any order. If you have Burrow 1, so be it. You love pocket passing. I love Lamar Jackson, dog. You know, Cerrone and his unrequited love for that man can get a little bit annoying sometimes, but I love Cerrone too, dog. And God, those texts can get really annoying after they win, and he's just translating everything to Lamar speech. But fuck, man, I love Lamar Jackson. And you know what, Berg? I'm going to take them to have the best record in the NFL this season. I think this is a Ravens regular season at the very minimum. I think they might win the Super Bowl. I haven't made my Super Bowl pick yet, but we're getting there. And I think that 14-3 is in the cards here for the Ravens. I think they're going to be dynamite.
Hey, and I get why everybody loves Lamar Jackson and loves watching the Ravens because they get some exciting regular season games. I actually call it right now, in my view of the NFL, they are the regular season warriors. They're gonna come out in the regular season. And they're gonna give you a game. They might have one little blowout.
A dig, dog. Regular season warriors is crazy. You know that's a dig.
Oh, it is a dig. It is a dig. We have to acknowledge the lack of postseason success, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So was an unintentional dig. What we're talking about is the regular season. So it was actually the opposite of a dig. It was maybe you should go for him. But with that being said, dude, I want to take the under, but how can you take the under with Lamar Jackson?
Well, I don't know what the argument is for the under because, I think their offense is guaranteed top 10 with him at quarterback, and I think their defense is pretty much a promise to be 5, 6, or 7, if not 1 or 2 or 3. But I don't know what the argument is.
Yeah, I guess, see, that's kind of where I'm at.
I have to be able to talk myself out of them. I can't talk myself out of them.
What are Lamar's stats after he wins an MVP? Does he have a down year after? Because maybe that's a good argument, and maybe that's
what
why
are his stats,
take the under.
maybe more importantly,
or I take the under.
After he should have won the MVP, because he didn't. Allen won the MVP last year, but I mean Lamar's numbers last year: 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 41-4 ratio, 4,100 yards passing.
That's crazy.
Probably, God, where's his rushing stats? Probably 1,000 yards rushing, 915 yards rushing that he's adding on top of that. God, he's so good. I wish he was my quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's really just his trophy to lose at the end of the season, or his award to lose. I want to take the under here so bad, and I feel like it's the play, but I can't do it. I'm actually going to take the over, and I'm going to lock it because of these regular season dogs. I bet they do get the number 1 seed. This feels like a year that the Ravens...
regular season warriors. I don't like that at all, because that just feels like Chiefs, priorities.
Hey, I didn't say it about the Buffalo Bills. I didn't say it about the Bills, and
because you respect the Bills.
Only not say it about those
respect
teams.
the Ravens.
I don't respect the Ravens that much.
I knew it. I knew you didn't. I can see it in your face.
Because let's hear it out this way. We're talking about these 4 quarterbacks. We're getting into a whole different discussion. I'll just rant it off in 15, 30 seconds. We're getting into a whole different discussion. Patrick, Josh Allen, I've seen him play electric games. Patrick, Joe Burrow, seen him play electric games. Joe Burrow even took the Chiefs out of the postseason. That was crazy to watch. And then you got Lamar Jackson. The only game postseason that I remember was 2 years ago, Chiefs. Well, yes, they lost to Buffalo last year. Sorry, I just meant them making it to the AFC Championship game. I think they had the 1 seed. They had the home field advantage. Everybody was talking their shit. Everybody was saying this is what's going to happen. And then, honestly, I'm coming at Lamar when it wasn't his fault they lost whatsoever. So this isn't really a him issue. I guess it's more of a public narrative discourse that I was tired of.
You know what?
Tired of hearing.
I like that point. I like that point a lot because I'm a firm believer that you need to have a true wide receiver 1. And I think the Chiefs have maybe disguised that a little bit with Kelsey, who people frame as a tight end, but really he's a wide receiver 1. If you're getting 11 to 12 catches in a playoff game, you're a wide receiver 1. Don't think the Ravens have ever had that.
Fair.
Even like back to Flacco days. Like, I don't know if Jacoby Jones fits that mold or Anquan Bolden. I like Zay Flowers. I think he's a good player.
They
like
could
Rashad
do
Bateman.
Mark Andrews, but
I like Andrews. I don't think he's 12 catches in a playoff game, though.
I think he could be.
And probably somebody's going to pull him having 12 catches in a playoff game. But I don't know. Like, the Steelers went out and got DK Metcalf. Why didn't the Ravens make an offer for that guy? Go make an offer for one of these guys. When T. Higgins is on the market next year, if he's on the market, go after T. Higgins. Like, let's get
yeah, are they
spicy.
still pushing out Zay and Rashad Bateman?
Yep, it'll be Zay, Rashad. I don't think they have Duvernay anymore. Let me pull up their depth chart.
Hey, they got Charlie Kohler, ex-Iowa State, on the tight end. I think he caught a touchdown in the preseason. Fact check me. But, yeah, no.
They
this
got
is all to
DeAndre
say.
Hopkins, the corpse of DeAndre Hopkins. Not sure what you feel about that.
Oh, that's right. I feel good about it. I mean, I don't think he's going to be anything spectacular, but if anything, I think it's always good to have a veteran like DeAndre Hopkins to at least, spill his little dark magic secrets of how he catches the ball and has surefire hands. Share that with the room. It's good to have that presence there. And then he might be good for 1 or 2 of those catches when you need them. And then, yeah, when you need them.
Let me put a bug in here.
Because Cerrone's always talking. Okay.
Let's say it's week 7 or week 8. We're approaching the trade deadline. There's rarely any action in the NFL when it comes to the trade deadline. The Dolphins are 2-5. And the Ravens just call them up. They're like, hey, we still got all our picks. Here's a 2nd rounder. Give us Tyreek. Instantly.
You think they'd give it?
I'm slamming the ticket. I mean, Tyreek's 31 to 32 years old. He's only probably got 3 or 4 years left in him, if that. Wide receiver longevity, it's, very rare. But if I'm going to put a rental out there
Jerry
for Tyreek
Rice.
Hill, I would love to see him in a Ravens uniform. Just throwing it out there. It might be chaos in the locker room if it's not already, but I trust that culture.
So what if they did the same thing, but they gave a 4th for Jalen Waddle? Are you less optimistic?
Sure. I think Waddle might be more expensive, though, because he is like 5 or 6 years younger. I don't know. I'd have to figure that out. NBA trades, they come to my brain and I know exactly what is a first-round pick or 6 first-round picks. I know what that looks like. NFL, it's more difficult because we don't see trades as often because they have this, we could go into it. Let's not go into it. Essentially, teams get penalized for trading players that have cap hits and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's whatever. All right, let's move on to the last team in the AFC North, which is the Cleveland Browns. Their win total is 4.5.
Oh.
Last season, they were 3-14. I think Kevin Stefanski is a hell of a coach. I just don't think that you can recover.
Dang. They were 3-14?
3-14 last year. They have the 13th.
There was really a lot of noise about them.
They have to play all 3 of these teams, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Ravens twice. I think that's 0-6 right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't like that at all. I'll have to look at the rest of their schedule, but I just off the top of my head,
they'll sneak a win or 2 in there.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Are you talking yourself into him right now?
So you said
thinking yourself into him right now?
You said the over-under was 3.5?
4.5.
3.5 is crazy low.
They have to go 5-12.
No, I'm not going to talk myself into them because there's so much uncertainty. What I am going to say is what every AFC North fan knows, that they're good for 1 or 2 wins against their division and they're spice things up and probably lose to everybody else. I don't think their defense is terrible, but there's too many questions everywhere else. I will say I do remember them ending the season on a high note, and that just might have been them getting a win, and that was big for the program. That's all that might have been, but I remember I
These
remember
are
some hype
franchises,
going
not
into the
programs.
next year.
They get rid of players
for the
quick.
franchise.
All right, so let's just play the schedule game really quick. I'm going to rattle off their schedule. You just tell me bullet, win or loss. Ready? Week 1, they play Cincinnati.
Lose.
Baltimore week 2.
Lose.
Versus at home against Green Bay week 3.
Lose.
In Detroit week 4.
Lose.
Then they play the Vikings week 5.
Lose.
Okay, then they play at Pittsburgh week 6.
Lose.
They get to play Miami week 7.
Ooh. They somehow lose that game.
And then they're at New England week 8.
Lose.
Okay, so they're 0-8.
They got to get a win in there.
They're 0-8 before their bye. I mean, if they're starting Flacco, I love Flacco. It was really fun to watch him a couple of years ago when he went on that streak. But, you know, he's a couple of years older now, and age is an exponential curve in the NFL. I hope we get to see Shador. Like I do. I think he could thrive in this offense. But, again, it's another situation where it's like those offensive weapons, Jerry Jeudy and Njoku, and not a whole lot else. Defense, you still have Myles Garrett, but, God, I hope he gets traded before the bye. Cedric Tillman. I like Cedric Tillman. I mean, they have the Jets on their schedule, the Raiders on their schedule, the Titans on their schedule, but I'm also looking at Buffalo, San Francisco, and then, 6 games against the rest of the AFC North. I don't like it, and I'm going under.
Yeah. No, my wins in there were going to be on the back half. My wins in there were going to be on the back half. They're going to get they're going to get 2 against their divisional opponents when they definitely shouldn't. And who knows who's going to lead that. And then they'll sneak another one in there. Maybe it's that Miami game. But I'm seeing 3 wins again, max. And then it's back to the drawing board for the franchise. For the franchise program.
All right. AFC South is our last division. And, this is an ugly division, but I kind of like a couple of the teams in here. And I really like this team we're going to talk about first, who is the Houston Texans. Their over-under is 9.5. They have the 18th most difficult schedule in the league. I am going over. C.J. Stroud is in the same bucket as Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor, except he's way better than either of those two guys have ever been. I love, and I want to say this, I'm in love with DeMeco Ryans as a head coach. I think he's a hell of a coach. I loved him when he was a football player for the Niners. And I think
where did he come from?
He was with the Niners for a while. I'm not sure if he was their DC or their linebackers coach or what he was there, but I just think he's a stud.
Promotion.
I love when you look at a coach on the sideline and you're like, I could put a helmet and pads on that guy and he'd blend in. Like he could at least be on kickoff team. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play a 3 and out or anything like that, but he could be on the kickoff team. And that's what I see when I see DeMeco Ryans. I see a handsome, young Lovie Smith looking man. And I can't stress enough how much I love C.J. Stroud. They're going to miss Tank Dell for a good chunk of the season, but I think Nico Collins is, 75% of Calvin Johnson, and that's being really generous because Megatron is one of my goats. But love this defense.
That's crazy to say.
Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter, Derek Stingley. I really like what they got there. Stingley is the third best quarterback in the league.
So you said their defense. I think you were going to say their defense is going to be kind of okay, kind of nice.
I think their defense is going to be top 5 defense. I think it's almost a guarantee. I think Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter combined for like 25 sacks.
Well, then, with that said, that knowledge, I'll easily go over the 9.5 because I love them having a nice defense, even though it is just projected right now. I do believe in C.J. Stroud. I think last year there was a lot of intangibles going around back and forth on that Texans team, where it was just kind of tough to get into a flow during the regular season. But I do love the receiving corps of Xavier Hutchinson, Jalen Noel, and Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins is a little sleeper in fantasy this year, and I'm in on their receivers. I'm in on C.J. Stroud. Have been.
They have a funny running back room, too. It's Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, and Nick Chubb. It's just like 3 backs are going to run over your face. Love Dameon Pierce, dog.
They got hitters.
I think the Stephon Diggs experiment last year and a half or so just wasn't great. I think that they'll have more continuity. They did trade one of the best left tackles in the league, Laramie Tunsil, to the Commanders. So they have a hole at that spot, but I really
Save
believe
that
in
money.
CJ. I think that CJ is one of those guys that, we have our top four. That's obvious, but I think he'll be competing for that fifth spot because every time I ask somebody who's the fifth best quarterback in the league, everybody has a different answer, and I don't feel like he comes up often enough yet. And that's probably fair after last season, but I think that he gets back on trajectory towards that number 5 spot. So over 9.5, we're both there, and that's plus 105. So I like the odds on that one too.
Might go Herbert number 5, but let's not get into that one at all. Let's just let that be out there. I'm gonna
Herbert.
over that, and I'm gonna lock that. I feel really good about that. I like the Texans. I just don't think they're as bad as they showed us they were last year.
I agree. Yeah. And what was even their record last year? I feel like they got the playoffs, did they not?
Yeah, and immediately lost. It's kind of their MO. Regular season warriors out here.
They lost in the divisional round last year, so they won the wild card. They were 10-7 the last 2 years of the CJ Stroud. Yeah, I feel really good about that. I'm hammering this one. All right. Should we end on a happy note or a sad note? Because I can save the happy note for the last team, or we could end on a sad note.
I think you always got to give the sad news first.
Okay, so Indianapolis Colts, their win total is 7.5. They officially named Daniel Jones their starter going into week 1 today. I like Shane Steichen. I think he's a brilliant head coach. I think I shouldn't say that, brilliant offensive play caller, very creative. But I have notes for like all these teams, and the only note that I could come up with for the Colts was, in quotes, fuck this team. I don't want to watch them at all. I wish that there was a feature on NFL Sunday Ticket or Red Zone, specifically Red Zone, because I always have that on one of my channels, where I just opt out. Like Scott Hansen doesn't show that one to me. I don't want to watch any Colts games this year. None whatsoever. Tank, draft Archie Manning, get another Manning in the franchise, and let's ball out next year. But for the time being, I'm good. I'm good. I like Jonathan Taylor. Everywhere else, I'm good, dog. I like Josh Downs. I'm good.
Under, or maybe instead of just saying, under, lock, but to your red zone, instead of, just exiting the Colts out, maybe you could just pick some guys. Just say, I want to watch Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, and Josh Downs highlights. Just show me those 3, if that's happening at all. If it's not, keep them off my TV. That's it. Because I agree with you there. Yeah, I have to go under, and it hurts to say because the last couple years we've talked about the Colts, it always comes back to we call them a well-oiled machine. From GM to president to just top down, president to GM, top down. It just shows that they've consistently done well, even though they haven't had a consistent quarterback since Andrew Luck. And it seems like they've always almost had the pieces together. Well, we've been saying that for too long now. They don't have the pieces together, and they need to figure some things out. And they're uninspiring on paper, they're uninspiring in pop culture, and they're uninspiring altogether. So, under, no lock, but under. They might be bottom of that division.
Can you name who their leading receiver was last year, just according to yards?
I'm going to guess, was it Josh Downs? Or was it Pittman?
He was actually, it's an unfair question because they're separated by 21 total yards between the 3 receivers. Alec Pierce was their number 1 receiver last year.
Ooh.
824 yards. And then it was Pittman, 808. And then it was Josh Downs, 803. And you might think to yourself, well, Pittman had to have played less games than Alec Pierce, right? Wrong. They both played 16 games. And I like Alec Pierce. He's a white guy that goes for a deep ball. Like, respect, dude. Put it on for the city. But and I like Michael Pittman, too, and I like Downs. But I do not like Daniel Jones. We haven't said his name yet, or I guess we said at the beginning. But I don't need hashtag Duke in the NFL. I already have hashtag Duke in the NBA.
He's a Duke guy. I always forget he is a Duke guy. Always forget that. That is a fact that is simultaneously so inspiring because you're like consistency out of my wide receivers, and also so disheartening because you're like, who's the guy?
Did I get an under out of you there?
Yeah, I'm going under.
7.5? Okay. All right. All right, let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars now. They have the same line, 7.5, minus 120.
A lot of hype.
They have the 24th most difficult schedule in the league. They drafted Travis Hunter with a 2nd overall pick. Last year they were
Yup.
4-13. That's how they got the number 2 overall pick. They went 4 games and 13 losses. Previous 2 seasons, however, they were 9-8, and they had a miraculous comeback against the Chargers in the playoffs one year in the wild card round. Liam Cohen, the former offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is their new head coach, and he had a really weird press conference when he said Duval, and he had all eyes looking crazy. He's got some juice. All right. I'm not sure if Baker Mayfield is a kingmaker and just makes OCs into head coaches, but I think Liam Cohen did a good job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, having them as a top 10 offense. And I want to say this name because this name he goes in the group. I don't know how many guys I have, but this guy is definitely one of my guys. Brian Thomas Jr., the second-year receiver from LSU. Just a dog. Like 1,600 yards this year, book it. He's going nuts. Trevor's throwing deep balls. They got the chemistry, and I feel good about taking the Jaguars here at over 7.5. Let's go get 8 wins this year, Liam Cohen. Duval.
Let's go get 8 wins, baby. What's their defense looking like? That's always that's my question now.
Don't ask me about that one because I don't know. I know Tyson Campbell. I know Travis Hunter's going to be playing both sides. You still have Josh Hines-Allen. Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick a couple of years ago. Other than that, I don't really know. Don't feel great about it, but I think that they go 2-0 against the Colts. I can give you that much. I hate the Colts. I don't know how they have the same line.
I think on this one, give me 1 sec.
Okay.
I gotta look up.
I can filibuster real
They're
quick.
full.
I'll do my
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence filibuster. Trevor Lawrence
Already
came in
got
the league, and people said that he was Peyton Manning with legs and long hair. It's obviously not true, and I've given up on that being a possibility. He's never going to be a top 5 quarterback. He's never going to be in that Herbert, Stroud, Hurts, Jaden Daniels spot. But I think he's a top 10 quarterback potential. And if you can get that out of a player in this division, they're going to compete. They're going to win games. I am looking forward to the Texans-Jaguars games this year for God knows what reason, but I'm going to be locked in on those games. And again, man, I think that he just give him some weapons, give him some stability, and I think Trevor's going to do all right.
Yeah, they have Emmanuel Ogbah on the defense, second string. That's just disheartening for me to see. So I'm going to have to go under here. And honestly, it's really just a fade of the vibes around the Jaguars this year. When they're good, it is exciting. We'll never forget their magical run to the AFC West championship game. Feels like forever ago, kind of was. But they got all the pieces on offense. Their offense should be exciting. But I'm kind of fading the vibes of people just seeing Travis Hunter go there, Liam Cohen go there, and everybody immediately click it. I'm not booking that ticket yet. I might later, but I'm not booking it. So I'm going to go under there, and yeah, that's about it.
Can I persuade you with one name?
Give it to me.
He's our dog. He's our dog.
Is he? Who
And
is
he should
it?
be RB1 this year. Tank Bigsby.
Hank Bigsby. They got
Bigsby is our
Etienne
dog,
Jr.
dude. Yeah, I don't care about him anymore. I'm done with him. Give me Tank Bigsby. Let's put Tank Bigsby in the basket and watch him go for 1K.
Speaking of, that future we put in last year, I feel like that had to have hit. Bigsby was getting some touches.
Did we put a Bigsby future in last year?
We
Call
said
the
it
number,
on
dog.
the pod.
Call the number.
We call-
1-800. That's tough.
No.
I don't know if I like that.
How do you not? I think it hit because
That's
it
degenerate
was.
gambling, dude. I hope I only put.
But
$1
the over
on it.
was. No, I don't think any of us actually bet it, but on the pod, we threw out take Bigsby over like 150, 200, whatever the low number of rushing yards he needed was. And it was when he was expected to be the low guy, when this is the year after Etienne just had a top 3 fantasy running back football finish. And everybody was thinking this guy's getting no touches. But he came in there and they were damn near splitting work. Travis was injured quite a bit. So that there's no way Tank didn't cash that for us because he's our guy. So, I mean, even with Tank Bigsby in mind, it's not the offense I'm worried about. But I am worried. I'm just worried that they're just, the floor's a little, everybody is I'm at a loss. The hype is too much. The hype is too much right now. I'm fading the hype.
Tennessee Titans is the last team on our AFC Over-Unders podcast. Their win total is 5.5 games, and it's minus 145 for some reason to get over 5.5. They have the 29th ranked schedule difficulty, so the 4th easiest schedule in the league. Clear out. Kobe, ISO. Cam Ward is the truth. Okay,
yeah, you're a Cam Ward guy.
If you think about last year's number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, and the amount of conversation, the amount of headlines, the amount of tweets about Caleb Williams last year, and if you were to just compare that to the amount of attention that Cam Ward has gotten this year, it's dwarfed. Nobody's talking about him at all. Like, there's no I haven't heard a single Cam Ward conversation on a podcast, on ESPN, nothing. Nobody's talking about him. That might be fair.
Why do you think that is?
Even though Nashville and Chicago, like obviously Chicago's, 3rd or 4th biggest city in the country, and Nashville's not. I just feel like the Titans are kind of a tired talking point versus the Bears. It's like, oh my God, it's the Bears. But this guy, I think, is Stafford-esque, Phillip Rivers-esque. I think he has the intangibles and the touch and the arm angles to just make plays. And I think that coach, Brian Callahan, is completely exhausted of having Will Levis just airmail shit over the sidelines and over receivers' heads and run around and scramble his head cut off, that he is going to be so thankful to have Cam Ward this year, as Cam Ward leads the Tennessee Titans to over 5.5 wins. I think they get to 6-11 or 7-10. I like the defense. Don't love the weapons. I think that this could be a big year for Calvin Ridley, but Tyler Lockett being your second receiver isn't super exciting. Chig, the tight end, is a speed demon. He's definitely an athlete. And then you have Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. I think this might be a good year to buy Tony Pollard stock. Like if he's a 9th or 10th round pick in a fantasy draft, if you can get him there, I think take him. But it all comes down to Cam Ward, QB1. I'm following, Cam Ward's spam accounts on Twitter that are tweeting out clips. Like, I'm all in on this guy, dude. And I love Caleb. I'm excited about the Chicago Bears. I'm not even going to say anything, but I really like Cam Ward. I'm all in on him.
I think he's got to be the most ready to go, polished quarterback coming into the NFL right now. I mean, with his age, and I think to your point, he sat out of his bowl game. Not that it's uncommon, but sat out so he could be ready, be healthy.
For this moment.
To take the Titans to where they want to go, to the promised land. But I think vibes are just bad in Tennessee. It almost feels like a land of Titans that don't care about their franchise, which I get. The organization, the franchise hasn't done a lot to inspire them. But yeah, no, this is all to say I'm going to go the under, but I do really like Cam Ward.
It's a fair pick. I should say too that I'm so sellable on these kinds of guys. I liked the celebration that he was doing last year like this. I love watching him throw. It's just that easy as I see an Instagram reel and the ball looks pretty coming out of his hand. But what really pushed me over the top was he was doing a press conference and he was talking to the reporters about how he was showing, they asked him, it was provoked by the interviewers because the coaches had probably told them, but they're like, Cam Ward was in the building this morning at 4:30 a.m. watching tape, grinding, lifting. And they asked Cam Ward about it. What did Cam Ward say? He said, I watched my dad wake up at 4 a.m. to go to a job that he hated my entire life growing up. So if I can't do that to do a job that I love, man, what kind of man am I? And I saw that, chills all the way down the spine. And I'm like, all right, fire up Madden. I'm playing as Cam Ward right now, and we're leading the Titans to the Super Bowl. And you know what we did? We did that. Did we trade for Jamison Williams and Keon Coleman to build out the receiver room a little bit more to give him some more help? Yes, we did. All right. But Tyler Lockett, Calvin Ridley, veteran receivers, they'll get open. They'll make plays for him. And then they got some exciting young rookies too in the mix. And then I like the defense. They got your boy L'Jarius Sneed, Jeffrey Simmons. They got some playmakers on that side.
L'Jarius. Yeah,
You're
hopefully
still on
he
the
can
under.
return to form this year.
It's fair.
Yeah, I'm
going
still on the under.
5.5 is it's a lot of wins. They would have to go from 3-4. They would have to double their win total. They went 3-14 last year to get to 6-11. But I think Cam Ward is 10 times as good of a quarterback as Will Levis is, so I think we can get there.
Hey, I agree with a lot of your points. That Cam Ward quote is kind of chilling, and unfortunately could be a hard edit in the future on a TikTok video or something.
Oh yeah,
But
that'll go hard.
yeah, in the future, if he pops off like that, which I hope he does, because you're always rooting for quarterbacks to come to the league and do well. There's not enough good quarterbacks in the league right now. There's not 32 starters, but yet there's 32 teams, and we need some good QBs.
I think we're getting there, though. I think we got like 23 or 24 starters.
Yeah.
That might be an interesting exercise to do. All right. Well, let's review these really quick. We'll just scrub through them. AFC West, we both took the over, and we locked it on the Kansas City Chiefs at 11.5. The Chargers and the Broncos are both at 9.5, and we both went over on those as well. Okay, so 3 out of 4 teams, we went over in the AFC West. Then the Raiders. You are under 6.5. I'm over 6.5. Pete Carroll believer. AFC North. Cincinnati Bengals at 9.5. I went over. You went under. Pittsburgh Steelers at 8.5. We wanted to go exactly 8.5, but that's not possible according to sportsbooks. So we both took the over instinctually because of the Tomlin history. The Baltimore Ravens at 11.5. We both locked it at an over, and I made a ridiculous statement. I said they might win 14 games, and they'll have the best regular season record. I think I might stand by that. And then the Cleveland Browns at 4.5. We both went under. And we think that they're going to draft, I don't know, Caleb Downs from Ohio State. Keep him in Ohio next year with a number 2 overall pick. AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. I went under 11.5. Not feeling great about that. And you went over 11.5. And then we went to the New York Jets at 5.5. And you locked them as an under because you do not believe in Jewel Justin Fields. I also went under. Did not lock it, but I went under. Miami Dolphins, I did lock the fact that they will be under 8.5 wins this year. I cannot see any world where that happens. You're also on the under. New England Patriots, 8.5 wins, even money. We're both on the over. Third easiest schedule in the league. We're in on Vrabel. We're over on the Pats. Okay. AFC South, which we just wrapped up. Houston Texans, we're both on the over at 9.5, and you locked that one too. You got 4 locks on your board. You're feeling good about the Texans. Then the Tennessee Titans. I went over 5.5 because of Cam, number 1 QB Ward, and you went under. Jacksonville Jaguars, 7.5 wins. I'm on the over. You're on the under.
Love it.
Indianapolis Colts.
Fade the hype.
I locked them at an under, and you also went under there as well. So that's it. So I'm going to have a lot of unders on the NFC pod because I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 11 overs and 5 unders. I'm being optimistic. It's probably not good, but I think the AFC is a lot better than the NFC, so I stand by it.
No, I feel like we should also be able to do some, with the NFC involved, obviously it's a little different, but I'm trying to do the math in my head. Like, is it possible for all these teams to go over? It definitely is right now, but we're going to need
they would all have to go over, and I think every NFC team would have to go under, I think is the math there.
Make it a parlay.
Oh, don't parlay that. Well, all right. I did have one last thought before we go, which is completely unrelated to AFC over-unders. It'll be a quick one, I promise. But I just wanted to give a shout-out to John Wall, who officially retired from the NBA today, from basketball today. One of the most electric point guards of the 21st century. I'm going to miss watching him. I saw the notification that he retired today, and I swear to God, I was at work, and a tear came to my eye. I was like, my youth is disappearing in front of my face. Thank God for guys like KD, Bron, Steph, Kyrie. They're maintaining that, but we're entering that generation of age where it's like, damn, we are not the people. We're not the kids we used to be, according to Frank Ocean. So I'll really miss John Wall, and we'll always have the best high school mixtape of all time, the John Wall high school mixtape, which is just ridiculous. If you're ever feeling down and, out about what humans are possible or capable of, watch the John Wall high school hoop mixtape. Yeah, man, a legend. Love John Wall.
Our heroes are becoming legends. You're right. You said it.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And that's an optimistic way to put it. So, all right. Thank you for listening today. We will be back next week with our NFC Over-Unders podcast. Skyler, thank you for joining me as always. I love you, buddy. And everybody else, we will see you on the other side. Peace out.
Peace.